WTN 100.9 FM, Allen, Nebraska, the official radio station of the Winnebago Tribe.
Hello. Okay. Test 1, 2.
Hello,
All right. We are here with another episode of our Indigenous Voice podcast. And happy to be here and episode 6 here. So we're excited to continue to push this amazing content out. And as always, we always tune in on the first Monday of each month at 12 at noon, high noon. And that's when our episodes premiere. So continue to tune in and be a part of this amazing podcast. And so we have amazing content today. Glad to be here and continue these conversations. I really always feel good after these episodes because it's good to hear our youth and have them share their insights and just some feedback on that and just have some really powerful discussions. And sometimes that can get emotional too. And so I encourage our guests to, if there's an emotional reaction or anything like that you're feeling, feel free to just let us know. And if you need to step away, that's fine too, because I know some of these conversations can get a little tense, and just want to create a safe space for our youth here and also for our co-hosts too as well. If you're feeling the same thing, just let us know, and that's fine. But yeah, so like I said, we're here with another amazing episode 6 here. And if you're not familiar, if you're a new time tuner in, or if you tuned in for the first time, this theme for this month is empowering our Hinuk and Wa'u relatives. And so Hinuk is the word for women in Ho-Chunk, and then also Wa'u is the term for women in the Omaha language there. And so we really want to focus this episode on empowering our female relatives and giving them a chance to talk about what female relatives empowered them, inspired them, and what some of the values that they think a strong, empowered Indigenous woman should have or has. And so and that also connects with the national month for this month is National Women's History Month today. So we just wanted to connect those themes and relay that to the conversation that we're having today too. So we'll go ahead and get started. We have a really great show today, some good topics today, and like always, we want to pull youth from the communities that we serve here. And so we'll start with our introductions. And first, I'll start with me. So my name's Sandy Mackey Scott. I'm a member of the Winnebago Tribe of Nebraska, and I also work with Indigenous and one of the main hosts here for the podcast. And I'll move the introduction to my co-host here.
Hello, I am Shailece Porter. I am a youth coordinator with Society of Care and Morningstar Counseling, and I come from the Omaha Tribe.
Okay. And yeah, then we'll have our native youth introduce. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there. So go ahead, share your name, your tribe, your high school, and what grade you're in.
Hello, my name is Esperanza Del Angel, SB for short. I am from Walhill Public School. My tribe is Omaha, and I am a senior at the school.
Nice.
Hi, my name is Misty Eagle, and I am a part of the Winnebago Tribe of Nebraska. I'm also a 12th grader, and I go to the Winnebago school.
Awesome. Welcome. We do have another native youth that's going to come in, but she's running on Indian time. She'll be here. It wouldn't be an Indigenous podcast without Indian time. Okay, so bear with us. She'll be coming in soon, and we'll definitely give her time to introduce herself and share where she's at, who she is, and more of that. Okay, so what's great too is we have some new guests for our show. So these women here have never been on our show or our podcast, and we always want to make that time for our new guests to share their perspectives on mental health and what that looks like for them, or how they implement that into their life, or maybe they're not even sure what mental health is. This podcast just gives a chance to learn more about the perspectives of our youth and how we can bring mental health into our youth's lives and empower them that way too. So we always like to start with the question for this part is, what do you think about mental health, or what comes to mind when we talk about mental health? Just like, what are ideas, anything, perspectives on that? Yeah.
For me, I think it's well-being. I mean, it can be psychological, physical, I mean, any of those things. And the way that we cope through things. And how we navigate life through all those. So I think mental health is also something that we really need to talk about. And it is a lot more expressed than it used to be when I was younger and my sisters went to school. So I think, mental health is just the way that we cope through things, and that's my aspect on it.
Okay, thanks for sharing.
Mental health to me is it's a very big topic to talk about, especially since Native Americans, we are stereotyped in very different ways. So there's not a lot of topic about mental health. It's always just about our culture and stuff like that. But there is a lot of Natives who have mental issues. As SB said, as SB said, it's physical, it's mental, it's very anything, to be honest.
Right.
So.
Yeah, I love answering this question because it really gives me an idea of where mental health is sitting at in each of your lives and what it looks like. And I don't think there's like a right answer for this question here. So I really liked how each of you had your own perspective, but similarities too. So that's, like I said, the point of this podcast is to give you guys a chance to share those and just get a peek into your lives when it comes to mental health. So thanks for sharing that.
Of course.
And so, like I said, this episode is really about empowering our female relatives and getting them to talk about those things. And so I'll let our co-host here kind of take away with some of the questions we have. We always have questions that center the conversation and these podcasts here, but we always encourage our guests too, if there's something that you want to ask us as co-hosts or your fellow Native youth, you can always ask that too. These questions are more to engage the conversation in that direction. But like I said, if there's something that you want to discuss or mention, feel free to include that into the conversation there. And so we'll start with the first question, and then our new guest will get situated, lined up, and we'll come back to have her introduce herself here. But go ahead, Shailece, take us away with the first question.
Okay, so these questions will be based off of a woman who inspires you in your life. So with the first question, who are the women in your life that you cherish or you would like to spotlight?
I think I would like to spotlight my great-grandma, Geneva Donhofer. She has impacted my life so much in the past 18 years I've been alive. So,
for me, I want to give a shout out to my mom for kind of, with mental health and the topic, just teaching me and my older sisters like that it's important to express those things, and how it's good to have an outlet to go to or talk to. So big shout out to my mom for telling me that mental health is okay.
Well, I definitely want to include our new guests into this conversation too, so we'll do a brief introduction. If you want to just share your name, your tribe, what school you attended, and also your grade.
Okay. My name is Kylie Merrick. I'm from the Omaha tribe. I'm a sophomore at Nebraska Indian Community College.
Okay, nice. I like I was just looking at your sweater. I like that sweater. That's
Thank
awesome.
you.
Okay, welcome. Thank you for joining us. So like I said, today's episode is just about empowering our female relatives and talking about who inspired our female relatives and the values that go into that, things like that. So, Shailece, do you want to share the question here for our new guest, and she can have an answer for that?
Yeah. So the question was, who are the women in your life that you cherish or you would like to spotlight?
I would like to give a shout out to all my older sisters and my grandmothers, all my aunties. They all play like a huge role in my life.
Okay, awesome. Definitely want to give the co-host a chance to share. Do you have anybody that comes to mind?
I would have to say my mom as well. She's my life. I'd have to say her.
Okay.
What about you?
This podcast isn't about me. Nah, I'm just kidding. No, well, thanks for asking. Yeah, one woman that definitely comes to mind, and she's no longer here, but is my grandma, Regina Scott. She passed over 10 years ago, but I feel like even the relatives that pass on, they still can serve as a role model and guidance, and that's someone that I cherish and hold close to my heart. And definitely when I'm going through a challenging time or like I make some challenging decisions, I always reflect and ask, like, you know, what would my grandma Gina do, or what would she do in this situation, you know? And she was just like a really good person, and always just was giving and never really taking. And that's kind of like one of the qualities that I liked about her, and one of the qualities that I want to develop is just to give and take care of our people and just be there, you know. And so that's something that I think about when I think about her. So
Thank you.
Mhm.
Thank you for sharing. We'll move on to the next question. What are some words that you would use to describe your grandmother, your sisters, your mom, aunties?
Very courageous. She has been through a lot, and she's very strong, and she's very independent. So
I would say resilient.
I would say powerful. I think powerful is a good word to describe my mom.
nice.
I swear we're the same. No, I would say my mom, she's really disciplined. She's smart. She's beautiful. She's funny. Yeah.
I think you're describing me. For me, with my grandma in mind, I would think, I would say selfless. That's one word that comes to mind, selfless. And I think it's interesting that all the words that we shared, like, of course there wasn't any negative words or anything, but these are all different words that, positive words that empower and relate back to our relatives. And, you know, it's good to kind of recognize that. And we'll have a little bit more conversation on how maybe those values connect to ourselves too, or how we might follow those values in a way too. But just wanted to kind of make that known as well.
Okay, what are some ways maybe you or your spotlight has demonstrated courageousness?
And you can think about it. Don't feel like you have to answer right away. Like, I know it's a really, it's a good question. You know what I mean? And take time to think about it and reflect. I guess for me, I'll go for a moment so you can think about your thoughts there. But for me, my grandma, unfortunately, she passed away from cancer. But during that, you know, she was on hospice and was at home, and we were there just being with her and just being around her with her final moments. And you know, she demonstrated courageousness. She just didn't really seem scared or frantic, and it's almost like, you know, she accepted that time was coming, and she just was, you know, okay with it. And she was a really religious lady too. She was really connected with her faith. And one of the things that I liked about her too is when it was her last few days, they moved her to a hospital just to make her more comfortable, but she wanted to have one-on-one conversations with every family member, all the way to her grandkids and great-grands. And so I had my moment with her, and I think it's like a trauma response, but I feel bad for saying this, but I only remember pieces of our conversation, and I think it's just something that I'm kind of working on and blocking out, but I need to reflect on it. But I remember one question that I asked her, and I don't know why I asked her, because it's just like a really intense question, and I was in high school at the time, and I kind of feel bad for asking at the time, but one question I said, are you scared to die? And then I was like, why did I ask her that, you know? And I look back and I was like, okay, why did I ask that? But her response, it just really amazed me. And that's one thing I do remember. And she said, yeah, she's like, I'm scared. She's like, I'm not gonna lie, I'm sitting here scared. But she said, you know, I'm not completely worried or anything like that. She's like, I know God and Creator is gonna take care of me, and you know, this is my time. And so, you know, I'm not too worried. But she's like, yeah, I'm a little scared, but it's not, you know, to a point where it's like, and, you know, creates anxiety or anything like that. So even in that moment, like, she was facing death and just wasn't freaking out or anything like that. I can only imagine, you know what I mean? She just showed that courageousness. So, but yeah, that's kind of what, I guess, a way that she showed or demonstrated courageousness to me, even for her. So just wanted to share that with the group here.
Thank you. Does anybody else?
For me, when I think of this question, my mom is very introverted, so whenever she, you know, goes out of her way to take a big step and like do something, whether it's like go to one of my games or anything, I take that all in, and I cherish that, because despite of like how introverted she is, or, you know, very shy she is, like the fact that she went out and like did it shows that she was willing to leave the introvertedness behind and pursue it. But that's what I would say.
Okay.
I feel like my grandma has showed a lot of courageousness and everything like that. She worked with people in halfway houses and helped them become better people. And that takes a lot, and especially if you are feeling low yourself. She showed a lot of outgoingness and being able to be out there, and I feel like that really shows a lot of courage.
Right.
A lot of majority of like my grandma, my mom, my sisters, like we work for the community and like very close with their youth, and I've seen them go through things like personally and then still able to pick themselves up the next day and be there for our youth. And that really inspires me, because when I go through something and then I think about my older sisters and how they continue to get up and strive every day, and yeah, it really pushes me.
Yeah, thanks for sharing that. Nice.
Yes, thank you. I would say about my mom is that she has a big heart, sometimes a little too big, but I always called her Superwoman, because I feel like, my mom's like can't be beat type, but she's amazing. I love her. She does a lot, not just for my siblings, but her nieces and nephews, her sisters, her brothers, whoever it is. She's never afraid to be that helping hand, and she never expects it in return. So I would say that about my mom.
Nice. I love the different shares and stories here. Like that's why I said I love this podcast, because just getting an in-depth view of each of you, and there's even some similarities I've seen there too, and it's just kind of amazing to see our our youth connect to those and share those things. So thanks for sharing each of those stories. I appreciate that.
Yes, I appreciate it too. So what is a favorite memory of the woman that has impacted you the most?
I don't think I could pick just one. She's really taught me how to become a bigger person and to be more mature about things. She's always just been able to be there for me when I really needed it, to pick me up when I'm just down. It's how things have always been. She's just been my rock.
I remember when we were younger, my mom used to have like this book, and like whenever we would act up, she would pull it out. She'd be like, well, what does it say? You have to share. And so we would have to share. But there was one in the book where it was to love your neighbor, and my mom's religious, and she's always taught us, love everyone, whether they're mean to you, whether they're nice to you, whether whatever happens, always treat them with love. So I try to do that as much as I can every day, just to keep it in mind. Is you don't know what another person is going through, but always treat them with love, because you don't know. So.
Thanks for sharing that.
Yeah, thank you. I would say a favorite memory I have of my mom is, growing up, me and my mom didn't have like the closest bond, because she was in school and all of that. So, but I became a mom, and I would say my favorite memory of my mom is when she stayed with me at the hospital, because I had preeclampsia. So I was there for a while, and she was the only one there from Monday to Friday. So I would say that was probably my favorite memory of my mom.
Did you have no? Okay, that's fine. And like I said, with our guests here, I always try to tell them that they don't have to answer each question, and just feel comfortable whatever you want to answer. Don't feel like you have to answer each one of them. So just want to remind our guests that. For me, I guess one of my favorite memories, kind of like Missy, is really hard to select just one. But like if I were to pick, I guess I would just kind of combine it all into one, kind of like Misty did. But my grandma, she was like our our matriarch. So she always brought us together for our family doings and birthdays and dinners and things like that. And she was like the glue to our family and brought us together. And so that's like one of the memories I missed and cherish with her. And unfortunately, you know, that now she passed, that family bond, it's there, it's just not as strong as it used to be. And I get, you know, the schedules and people's lives get kind of busy, but it just seemed back then things were we were always meeting together, always eating. It was just kind of an expectation, and it's different now. So that's something I remember about her, is just always bringing us together as a family and just sharing a meal together. And man, could that woman cook? I don't know how she did it. She made breakfast every weekend, you know. So when he was at grandma's house, you would get some boiled eggs, some oatmeal or whatever. You would, you know, she always a good cook, and that's something I remember about her too.
Same, Mackie, same.
Well, thank you guys for sharing. Do you guys notice any characteristics that you guys get from your grandma, your mom, sisters?
Oh yeah. Now that I can think about it, I definitely have her attitude. I have her outgoing side. Whenever I look at my grandparents and I think about who more I'm close to, it's definitely my grandma, my great grandma, because just growing up, she was always just that person on my side. I was always attached to her at the hip, so it was really easy to just pick up good things from her, good habits. So
that's good. Thank you. Anybody else?
You can go.
I was saying, if you're gonna go, I'll wait for you.
You want me to go?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Was you gonna go?
You can go.
Okay.
I can go right after you.
All right. Okay. For me, so this is kind of like kind of a strength and a weakness, or a characteristic I see in my grandma, and it's something that I kind of have to manage too. But like I said, my grandma, she was really really selfless and would go over and beyond for people. And you know, she'd be involved with different committees and different volunteer activities and opportunities. And one of the things is I think she struggled with saying no, you know, and I think some of us also struggle with saying no. Like, it's okay to say no sometimes, you know. And with her, she was just heavily involved and doing a lot, and sometimes I kind of seen that have a weight on her, where she was tired and exhausted sometimes. And she never complained, though. She never would complain about any of that. She would just do it. But you could just see how tired she would be, because then, you know, after a full day of running around and doing work, she would use her evenings to do those volunteer things. And so that's one of the characteristics I see in me, is I tend to want to do everything, be involved with everything, being a helping hand and all that. And sometimes I overwhelm myself and overcommit, and then I'm feeling that stress and burnout and feeling overwhelmed, you know. So that's something that a characteristic I see from myself with her, whatever, just kind of being overcommitted and being selfless. So yeah, that's what characteristic I see.
For me, my mom kind of goes with the flow with everything. So I've kind of picked that up, is just to go with the flow. You know, if it happens, it happens. It's not God's plan, it's not God's plan. So, I mean, with everything that I'm doing right now in high school and stuff, I just let things happen. So if it happens, cool, let's do it. But also to your best ability. So if you're going to do something, you're going to do it to your best ability. So that's what I've gotten from my mom.
Nice. Great. Okay. Any other feedback?
I would have to say, I know for one thing I didn't get from my mom is her brains. Because me and school don't mix, but school and her mix very well. But I would have to say, one thing I notice that I get from her is I could be second mom real easy to all my siblings. But I would say I get from her is the wanting to help people, and then, you know, like kind of getting walked over for doing it, you know. But I would just say, you know, just having a big heart, I would get from my mom. And yeah,
I like that one.
Yeah, I really do.
I would say the same too. Like, I have a big heart, and that's just as well as my sisters, my mom, my grandmas. Yeah, and also like bravery.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah,
The
thanks for
bravery.
sharing that. I appreciate that. So we'll go through another question here. We do have some more lined up after that, but after we get done with this question, we will go into a brief little commercial break from our sponsors. We always want to highlight our sponsors for making this amazing podcast happen. But go ahead, Shailece, take it away with the next question here.
How do they help you as a young adult?
I feel like my grandma has helped me a lot in just maturing and being able to see how people's backgrounds aren't always the same. They come from different places and everything like that. I mean, whenever I lived in like Georgia and everything like that, everybody has different backgrounds and where they come from in different cultures. And everybody just doesn't go through the same things. And especially since we're talking about mental health, everybody goes through things differently. They hold things differently. Some people don't like to talk to other people about how they feel, and a lot of people just love opening up to people.
Yeah.
Love that.
So I think that's how my grandma helped me.
Helps you. Mhm.
Yeah.
Good.
There is a lot of ways that my sisters, my family help me. I'm a young mother, so I look up to them a lot for like guidance, and I see their strength, and it gives like me strength. And honestly, like they've all had a helping hand in like molding me into the woman I am today, also the mother. And I just, yeah, like I said before, like they have a really big heart. And yeah, I also want to give a shout out to my baby, Kyler.
Like that.
My mom has taught me to express who I am, to love myself, because I'm Mexican and Native. So she's taught me kind of like, you know, you're both of those things, you like express both of those things. Like that's something to be proud of. So my mom has taught me to be proud of both of those things. But also, like my sisters, I can say as well, I've seen their mistakes. I've seen my mom's, you know, past, and they'll tell me, hey, I went through this. I don't want you to go through that. So they'll tell me, like, learn from my mistakes so you don't have to go down the same route. And then also, going back to expressing yourself, I use clothes. That's how all my sisters do. They use clothes, fashion, so I love to express myself in clothes, and the list can go on and on. My closet's so fun, but yeah, I would say those things.
I know. I noticed you and your sisters at the game. I was like, man, I love your guys' style.
Yeah.
Like,
I feel like expressing yourself comes in a lot of different
Yeah.
forms. Like a lot of people use sports and everything like that. Like I can name a few girls. Shout outs at Precious at Huns. They express themselves through wrestling and everything like that. And I love the way that they express themselves. I love the way they show themselves. Like inspirational.
I would say my mom has helped me through a lot, especially through my adult life, ever since I became a mom. I mean, she's helped me learn how to budget, but I'm not that great. She's taught me how to save. She's taught me how to fill out a W-9 when I didn't know, like, because I had kids, so it was different. And, like, you know, she's literally, I don't know if I'd make it through adult life without her, to be honest, because she's my go-to. I don't ask anybody else. It's Gwen only. So she's helped me through a lot through life. So anything I know, it's probably from her.
That's amazing. I like, you know, the simple W-9, you know, like those things like are challenging if you don't have anybody to guide you, you know, like it gets overwhelming, like taxes and, you know, these are grown-up terms, people, so pay attention, you're gonna have to do these eventually. But yeah, just those simple things can, you know, mean a lot, and they help us, you know what I mean. And I think like each of you shared, they helped us in their own ways. No, they can be little or big ways, you know what I mean, but they do kind of ripple in our lives, you know what I mean. So now Shailece is gonna be able to help her kids do a W-9 and all those things, you know, so that's amazing there. For me, I'm not a young adult, but as an adult, how my grandma's helped me is so I'm kind of like a visual person. I have to kind of visualize things, and so there will be times, like I said, where I'm going through something and a challenging moment or situation, and you know, I tend to help a lot of people and be there to hear them vent and through the things they're going through, and some of the things that they share, you know, I carry with me, and I think about those things and how they could better themselves and all that. But sometimes that sits with me too much, and I feel overwhelmed and kind of with all these emotions. And in my mind, like I said, I think about my grandma and what she would do in this situation. But like I said, I'm a visualizer person, so like sometimes I just visualize myself in a moment, and that like my grandma, she's there with me, and like I in a way pretend or feel like her presence is there, and like just as simple like her hand being on my shoulder or my back and just telling me it's okay, and I'm here for you and things like that. Like I visualize those things, and it's like really powerful, and it kind of like reminds me of like, this is like a practice I've been doing like ever since she's passed, but it reminds me of the episode on Reservation Dogs when Willie Jack goes to visit her relative in the prison, and then she teaches her how to kind of like feel the spirits and relatives around her, and then there's a shot of that where previous generations are behind her and just holding her back and let her know she's being there. And that's kind of what I do too, is just reflect on it, like even some of the ancestors that we've had that we don't even know or never met, they're with us in some certain degree and around us. We might not have know their names or met them, but I think about that too, like a lot of our ancestors went through a lot for us to be here, and they're part of kind of who we are too. And so I reflect on them too, like some of the challenges they went through, they're here with me and helping me and pushing me through forward too. So that's kind of one way that they help me, and today it just kind of reminded me to keep pushing, and everything will be fine.
And thank you guys for sharing.
And we'll go into our first commercial break. Just want to give a shout out to our supporters, our supporters, and the organizations that made it happen, our sponsors here. And so just give us a brief second here to share some words from one of our sponsors, and we will come back and continue these amazing conversations.
Morningstar Counseling is a Native and woman-owned mental health organization that was established in 2012. Morningstar Counseling incorporates cultural values and practices through prevention, outreach, psychoeducation, and training, and serves individuals and families across the lifespan. The Society of Care is a leading trauma resource for self-identified Native American youth and their families throughout Nebraska. We care for our relatives by providing accessible, affordable, and culturally sensitive behavioral care. As passionate advocates, we give Native youth a voice, connect them to services, provide wellness education, instill cultural pride, and empower them to build resilience. We believe in a brighter future for our relatives and are guided by caring deeply, transforming lives, and healing communities.
My name is Jamasina. I'm the Director of Substance Abuse Prevention for the Society of Care. We serve Indigenous communities throughout the state of Nebraska.
We teach coping skills so that people can navigate through hard times without turning to substances.
Our program focuses on coping strategies and uses culture as prevention, as it is a protective factor.
We also help people in recovery that want to reconnect with their families.
With our program, we really want to encourage families to be active in their child's life and to encourage the bonding with the family to make us stronger tiwahe. The classes that we offer are sewing classes and medicine picking classes, talking circles, and mentoring, and much more to come. If you are looking to get involved, reach out to the Society of Care through our Facebook page or call the Santee Health Center at 402-857-2300. Reach out when you need help. Recovery is for everyone.
At the end where you can find more information about both, but thank you for both those organizations for making this podcast happen and these amazing conversations happen. So next we'll continue with the conversation here. So we would the next question, Shailece, do you want to take us away with that?
Yeah. What do you think women mean to our Indigenous communities?
I think we have a pretty big impact, especially in Indigenous communities. I feel like just having a voice, being able to speak out about it, and especially about just women in general.
With like the stereotypes of women like being weak. I think we've gotten to a generation where like it's a lot more expressed, and I think it's so cool when women like give their input on things, and I think it makes them so powerful because like back then it was very hard. So yeah, I would say that.
Very much, because back in the day, stereotypically, it was women stayed home. They watched the kids. They wouldn't go to work. The men would do that. But now in our time of age, it's very much people are more women. They're getting out there and they're starting to be more independent.
And they have children. Like, that's crazy. I don't know. Like, them being able to give birth, I think that's so cool.
That's very powerful.
Yeah.
And especially, like, since we have mothers here, it's like, that you guys put your bodies through a lot. And especially for 9 months. Oh, my goodness.
I would have to say women are the backbone to a lot of communities. I mean, because they got to push through regardless. I mean, we still got to wake up and get things done, especially if you're a mom. You know, time doesn't wait for anybody, and I think specifically with the women, like, you know, they're pretty strong for what they go through. I mean, even the men, I mean, the things they go through as well, I mean, they're just as important. But with the women, I feel like they're pretty sacred to the communities. Like you said, we birth life. You know, we're home to children. We're safe places to children. So yeah, I would say they're like the backbone to communities.
Nice, yeah. And as a man, you know, just want to respect everybody's, you know, comments, and just add a little, you know, from my perspective as a male relative. Definitely agree with everything each of you said, and especially like the birthing life, and that's a big concept that my elders kind of shared with me too. Is like, you know, without women, we wouldn't have lives. There wouldn't be more people. You know what I mean? They have that power to bring in life, and it's sacred. You know, and it's really amazing. And one of my good friends, Callie Warrior, shout out to you. She works with Morningstar Counseling as a master's intern therapist, and she shared a concept with me that I didn't even think about it, and she shares this when she goes and speaks with the high schoolers in the communities. But she asked, she said, when do you think mental health first starts? Like, what age? And she'll ask that question, and people, you know, well, maybe 5, 4, 1. And she's like, it actually starts when you're in the womb with your mom. Like, that is the first relationship you have coming into this world, is that relationship with your mom. Building that with them, you're with her for 9 months, and you know, she's feeding you, and you feel what she's feeling, and you know, the stress and the food and things like that. And so that's amazing concept. I never thought about it like that. And just to kind of share a little bit about my mom, you know, unfortunately she passed about 2 years ago, but you know, like you, Shailece, I kind of had a rocky relationship with her at one point, and we got closer towards the end, and you know, it was just kind of a tough relationship at times, but I do miss and love her dearly. But I told Callie one time, I was like, why am I hurting so bad for a person that, you know, hurt me in a lot of ways? And I've forgiven her, but you know, in my mind, like, why do I hurt for her? And as she explained that concept, well, you know, that's your first relationship, and you made that connection with your mom. Like, you'll always have that relationship with your mom. And she's like, I don't want to be biased either. She's like, I really think you know, the connection with the mom is more powerful than the father, because of that time you're with your mother. And so that really, you know, put some perspective on it and made me kind of see things differently, and appreciate that. But yeah, like I really think our women are really powerful, and I really value them. And unfortunately in this day and age, you know, women, they don't have that equal treatment on certain things, and it's unfortunate, you know. And I'm for, like, you know, women doing more things, that they, you know, more opportunities to do other things that people, you know, say they shouldn't. Like, for example, we had a female leader for our tribe, for our tribal council. She was a chair several years ago, and we actually have a female chair right now for our tribal council. And I know when that first happened a while back, like there was just discussions like, oh, you know, women shouldn't be leading or in those roles and things like that. And you know, they have their own kind of perspective on that, but I really think, you know, women bring a different perspective, and those opportunities should be open to them, you know what I mean? But each tribe is different when it comes to those cultural doings and customs and things like that. And one of the things that my elders told me too with the Winnebago tribe is one of our tribal leaders, he was going to pass soon, but he had no male sons or anything to pass on that role, and so he only had a daughter. And so he passed that on to her to be the leader in the community. And I want to say her name was Morning Glory or something like that. I did a paper on her back in high school, but I can't remember it. But I just thought that was kind of amazing to bring up. But yeah, so I think our Indigenous women are really important to our communities, and they just need to be more empowered and recognized and things like that. And I do appreciate you all sharing your stories and recognize the good things that you're doing too.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for sharing. We'll move on to the next question. What do you think are some important values to have as an Indigenous woman?
A voice.
A voice.
Yeah.
A voice. Yep. Being able to speak up for yourself and be able to have your own opinions, but also remembering to listen to other people's opinions too.
Yep.
Thank you.
I think that was perfect. What you said was perfect. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yep.
Anything else? No? Do you have anything?
Do you have anything?
I would agree with having a voice. Another value I would say is good to have is structure.
Yes.
As a woman would be good to have as but yeah, that's all I would have.
Another one, ambitious.
Oh, yeah.
Willing to just go and do it despite of what people think. I would say that one is a good one.
Feel like how you present yourself very much is a big one. Presenting yourself as being able to have a voice, being able to look powerful in your opinion.
So I'm a big movie guy too, just to share that with the group. Like I am a movie buff, and one movie that comes to mind, it's on Hulu, it's Prey. Have you guys ever seen that one?
Oh yeah,
Prey.
My mom made me watch that.
So if you haven't, and it's like an action movie, but it's basically this alien creature comes to Earth, and the alien creature, the predator, it's what it's called. They hunt, and they get off on hunting. So he starts out small, you know, starts from like hunting a snake, and then to a wolf, and then to a bear, and he just slowly, you know, he gets like, throughout hunting. But then it's set back a long time ago, and then there's this man, I can't remember what tribe that is. Do you know what?
I forgot what tribe it was too.
I want to say Comanche, but I could be wrong. I'm sorry.
Is it Comanche?
It could be. I think it's a Comanche warrior. Yeah,
I think it
is.
was.
So it centers on this Comanche tribe, and you know, there's this woman. Her name's Naru, and she doesn't want to be like a part of like because I think the women, they're like berry picking and going harvesting and things like that, and finding herbs and stuff like that. But she is really into hunting and doing kind of what the male relatives do. And so in that story, it just kind of shows how she's going against the current and doing things what the male relatives are doing. At one point, spoiler alert, she becomes like the leader of the tribe because of some other stuff. But you need to watch it. It's pretty good.
It
but
is
it's
pretty good.
That, you know, because it's like that's probably what the traditional roles were back then, but she just wasn't vibing with that. That's what she wanted to do. She wanted more for herself, and I think more opportunities and things like that should be pushed and encouraged, you know, to a certain degree.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I agree.
Yep.
So we're gonna watch Prey right now. Bring up the clip. No, I'm just kidding. No, we can move.
Get some popcorn.
We're gonna next is just the Prey movie. So you're not getting my Hulu password though. No. Go ahead, Shailece. You take us to the next question.
Okay. How would you define an Indigenous woman?
Strong, powerful, being able to uphold strong and very independent roles, being able to Well, I'm just going to use my grandma as an example. She's very independent. She likes to make sure people's opinions are heard, but at the same time, she also has to remind them that everybody's different and that they also don't have the same opinions.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
I gotta think a little bit.
Okay. I would have to say I'd agree with you. The strong, being independent, listening to others' opinions, and I'd also add in bravery.
Yes.
Fearless, strong.
What's another word for like powerful? I'm trying to think about my English class right now. Think about what Brash would tell me.
For me, just thinking about both my grandma and my mom, the word that just comes to mind is just resilient.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, resilient. Yep. Like they both went through so much and didn't give up. Like even some of the odds were placed against them and put in some challenging situations, they kept pushing through. And I think that's when I think of resilient, that's what I think about is our Indigenous women, because like they really have to go through a lot and push through a lot. You know what I mean? And granted, male relatives, they have their challenges too, but I really think a lot is placed against our female Indigenous relatives too. Just they go through a lot, and I recognize that. And so like that's one word that comes to me hard to define as resiliency. Resilient.
I feel like we have a lot of resilient and brave women on our council right now. I mean, just look at what's going on in the world. We just had one of the Kitcheons, was that Victoria? Yeah, she was just in DC getting talking to the people about our land and everything like that. I feel like that takes a lot of bravery to be able to just stand up there in front of all those people.
Right.
Like that's really important because I feel like we never had that choice back in the day. So now that we actually are able to speak up about it, I feel like that's really important.
To have like a female leader on top of that going to testify in a setting that's never really been kind of welcoming to women leaders, and that is powerful. I get what you're saying. It really is powerful.
Yep. Hardworking is another one. Like my mom, she had 12 kids. Birthed all of them. I don't know how she did it, but she gave birth to 12. She's been working her whole life. I mean, we've gone through so many obstacles, poverty, having to fit in, school, not knowing when we're going to have food on our plate, just every single obstacle. And she's always, was there, bam, 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 bam. Even though my dad was working, she was with the kids majority of the time. So I would say extremely hardworking, extremely strong. She was able to go through all those seasons and still be strong through the whole thing. So yeah.
Thanks for sharing that.
Yes, thank you. We'll move on to our last question. What are some challenges you face as an Indigenous woman?
Obstacles, I would say, like I said, trying to fit in, trying to figure out what group am I supposed to be in, how am I supposed to act. The list can go on and on. But just trying to embrace those things, and even though there's all those things in your head, just to be like, you know what, take a deep breath, you got this.
Yeah, I feel like that's a major thing, is trying to find the right group that you're supposed to fit in with, or like trying to find people who you feel a connection with. And especially like it says like what are some challenges, I feel like it's a lot about like stereotypes with us. It's like, oh well, you're Native American, you live in a teepee. We've heard that a lot before and stuff like that. And it's like a lot of people don't understand like how powwows and stuff work, and it's like those are celebrations for us. Those are a part of our culture. And it's like people just think that we are ignorant. And that's what I've heard a lot about, like from books and from teachers and stuff like that. Because I know a few of our teachers that came down to work for us, they told us about how they grew up and how when they read in books and stuff that Native Americans were bad people, that they were just quote unquote savages and stuff like that. So I feel like we came a very long way from where we used to be, and we're able to actually voice what we want to now.
Thank you.
Started stuttering.
Like I've said, I am a young mother. I've faced like many challenges. I'm 22, so I feel like I've had to grow up fast. And one of the challenges, it is challenging, like trying to work full time, be in school, and taking care of my son and making sure he's in school. But I also see the woman in my life like persevere through all of that, and just even like things that come up at work, because they all play like a huge role in our communities, and they wake up and keep going and continue to go, and that's my strength, like really, it really is. And yeah, I would say those are some of the challenges as a young mother.
Thanks for
Well,
sharing that.
I wanted to give
Indigenous mother.
a big applaud to you because, you know,
Thank you.
but like that's just incredible altogether. You know, you're doing all these things, and despite everything that's going on, you're still going. And I think that's so cool.
Right.
Thank
it's
you.
very important now too, especially because you're only, what did you say, 22?
Yes.
I think that's a really big achievement. You'd be able to take your son to school and everything like that, and you're in school. That must be a lot to juggle sometimes.
Yes, but like I said, I've seen shout out to my grandma Gwen and grandma Tiana. They're very well educated, and I've seen them go through a lot. And yeah, like I've seen their bravery. They, regardless of anything that is thrown their way, like that doesn't change them. Like they have love at the end of the day, regardless. They're still gonna have love for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm speechless over here. I'm just really feeling the vibes, and it's amazing, and just to hear that, like, yeah. So thanks for sharing that. Thanks for being vulnerable. Appreciate that too.
I'll share.
Okay.
And then I would say like challenges. I'd agree. I became a mom young. I got 19. So like I feel like something that I face as being a woman is that I don't know how, like I'm learning how to live a life outside being a mother. I didn't get that opportunity to be that college student that I wanted to be, to go play basketball. So like I think the challenging part for me is learning how to continue to find myself while being being a mother, and a foster mom, a big sister. So, cause like I'm 23, and then like, but I feel like I'm like 26, 27, and then I always realize like I'm still young. Like I should be doing this, I should be doing that. But I come with a package as well. So like I feel like something challenging is I'm trying to figure out who I am again outside of the mom life, and then also being an adult, if that makes sense. So that's what, and I don't know, there's probably others who are young moms and still figuring out their life outside of mom life, because we get so sucked into that it's hard to come out of. Like you don't have to be in mom mode 24/7. You can't get breaks, you can't get, so yeah. And I feel like I being young, like I wanted to explore more, but life went a different route, which is fine. But I'm still learning that new way of life for me, even though it's been 4 years. But I feel like I'm finally coming to the end of where I was telling you, like I finally know what I want to do for school. I finally got the courage to sign up for classes. Like
We're gonna be going to school together.
yeah, we're gonna be studying together. Nah, but so like those things, like I think it's taken me 4 years to actually come out of that mom and mode and just trying to find Shailece.
Well, I think that's very powerful. Like I'm proud.
Thank you.
Like that takes a lot, and especially as you said, being a young mom and having to feel like a big sister and everything like that too. That's also a big thing, because I can feel the same. I'm the oldest out of all my siblings, and all I have is little brothers. So it's like being able to be the mature one and showing them how to live a good life. It's like it's important to be a good role model.
Yeah. always have little eyes watching. So always do right.
Well, that was our last question, and I just wanted to open an opportunity, or give an opportunity to each of you if there was like something you wanted to discuss or ask that maybe wasn't in the questions, or anything that you wanted to add on. If not, we'll just go into upcoming activities and things like that, but just want to provide that chance for each of you. If not, that's fine too.
I mean, I don't know if you guys have this at your school or not, but we have a thing called Hope Squad at ours, and it's where kids in each grade get selected to be in a mental health, what would I call it? It's like a mental health group.
Yeah, I would say it's it focuses on mental health, and also like a suicide prevention program too, just to kind of see students that are might be struggling with the mental health challenge, and then what do our Hope Squad peers do if they see that, or just kind of set them up with the skills to handle those situations. Not more of like counsel them, but if they realize that peers going through it, they'll meet with them and get them connect with the person or resources they need to.
Yeah, because I'm just a new member being this year, and I was actually quite surprised that people felt comfortable to be able to talk to me, and especially since a lot of people don't really know me, and especially like it was majority of the younger class. I feel like that was pretty powerful to even just be a part of that, because being able to go to powwows and being able to talk and just listen to everybody and how they feel, it's like that's a pretty big step. And especially because like in the future, as I was talking to Mackie before we even started this, I said I wasn't mentally ready to be a therapist. I just know I'm not mentally prepared. I'm not mentally ready. I'm still in high school. Like, I don't feel like I'm mentally to be able to do that, to be able to help people get to where they want to be. Of course, I'll listen and I'll be able to guide them to where they need to go, but I'm just not ready for that yet. Right.
And it's good to be honest with yourself with that. I think, like I said, that's good to reflect on yourself and realize those things too. And just to kind of go back to what Misty's sharing. So Hope Squad, it is a program that is across the nation, and high schools are using it. And what she was talking about is the administration and teachers, they don't go and get to pick like representatives. A big part of that is empowering our youth by having their peers select who they want to be the rep for the class. And so what she's sharing is her peers in the high school, they selected her to serve as that representative, that person to be part of the Hope Squad for that class. And
so there's actually 3 of us.
Yeah.
It's me, Zane, and Kaden.
Like it's not just one, but like just the idea that we leave the peers to select, you know what I mean? That says a lot about your character.
And it was surprising because when you look at some of the people on Hope Squad, it seems like they wouldn't even be a part of that. But a lot of people feel comfortable with talking to them. So I was like, wow. And we're trying to get this out more. Donna, she's trying to actually get connections with your school in Macy, because we'd like to be able to come down and talk to you guys about this, because this is really important. Mental health isn't like something to joke around about, because a lot of people go through a lot of different things. And I mean, I can say I've gone through a lot of stuff, and I mean, I was diagnosed with a few things, and it's like, wow, when you really just accept that and you go get help for it, you feel like a lot better.
Yeah, on the mental like health topic, like I said, it's not as talked about as it should be, but it's a lot different than how it was years ago. And I love where it's going, and I love how people are just learning to be vulnerable with it. And I just think that it's so cool. And on top of that, like having people to go to and having people to talk to about these things is just it's very nice to have someone to go to about these things. But yeah,
thanks both of you for sharing that. Really love that you're highlighting mental health and how important that is, especially for your perspective. And that's, like I said, the main focus of this podcast is talking about mental health and what are your perspectives on that. So I encourage you to keep trucking on and keep mental health in the forefront, and remind everybody how important that is, and practice it yourself. And also, if you're not familiar with the self-care concept, that's something that's important to know your self-care when you're going through it. And what do you do when you're feeling overwhelmed or stressed or anxiety? you use that self-care plan or your self-care. And so important to know that. But all right, well, thanks thanks for sharing that. We will go into some of our upcoming events and activities for March. I don't believe we have any events coming up, but we do have some groups and opportunities for youth to be a part of. And Shailece, do you want to share your book club?
So we're gonna be getting a book club going in the Watt Hill Macy community. We'll be planning to meet weekly. It would be for 15 on up. We will be meeting either at the Morningstar counseling office or another center. But just watch the Facebook page for the flyer and details on that.
Yeah, that was one thing, and then the other one was Hopeful Futures.
And then
a little bit more with that.
I am also helping Lisa with the Hopeful Futures class. Our interns are going to be taking that. The Hopeful Futures class, are we going to pull that?
Do we have a flyer to pull up here shortly?
But this class is offered at the Watt Hill Public School, the Omaha Nation, and the Santee community right now. For all three schools, you get 1 credit for high school, and then you'll get a credit with NICC on that. There will be a flyer. Yep, this is the Hopeful Futures Leadership curriculum. It is for the ages 16 to 25. There's 9 different modules that you would learn. It's all about leadership qualities, values, and strengths to build confidence and prepare Native youth to lead and transition towards independence. It's a pretty interesting class. You'll learn a lot of different things about yourself, your personality, leadership skills. We're currently meeting at the Omaha Nation School on Thursdays, Tuesdays with East Santee, and then Watt Hills will be virtual where they will watch online.
Yeah, and like Shailece said, depending on the location, you have an opportunity to get either high school credit or college credit for that. So just check in with the school there and see what you'll be able to gain at your school there. Sounds like an amazing program. Great opportunity to connect and build those skills up there as well. We do, and if you have any more if you want more information about that, like Shailece said, you can contact her or Waylon as well if you have any further questions on that. And like she said, they are offered, some of them are offered online too, so that's an option as well too. Another event that we want to highlight, we don't have a flyer for it yet, but check back on our socials to get more information on it. But in the Niobrara Public Schools around the Santee area, they are having a wellness event on March 28th. The details and things like that will be out soon, so just check back with our socials for more information and details on that as well. And then also there's a potential health fair that's happening the following day, March 29th, in the Santee community. Those flyers are going to be up soon, and more information about those will come soon. So like I said, just keep a lookout for those. You can find those on our socials once those are available. And then Shailece, do you want to kind of give us an update on your Wiatonga group too?
Yes, the Wiatonga group is still available. It is like a peer support group, where if you're struggling with homework, or you just want a friend to talk to, or you want to go for a ride, or maybe you need a transport to college visit, or you need help with scholarships or FAFSA. That's kind of what the Wiatonga is. It means Big Sister in Omaha, so that is offered in the community, and if you're interested, you can reach out to me and then we can get started. But that is still available throughout the school year.
Thank you for that. And then we'll have our screen up here to show you our socials. So like I said, if you check back on our socials, we have some amazing updates and things like that are coming up for events and services and resources. So first we have our Society of Care page here. This is the main page here. We have several Society of Care pages, but this is the main one for the overall overall program there, but we do have different areas and service locations and things like that. So there are several different ones. And then here is the Santee Society of Care. So this is for the Santee community and things that are going on there. And just keep checking in for there. And then also we have the Northeast Nebraska Society of Care page there. So it can seem kind of overwhelming, but they all have different service areas and different events going on each location there. And then we also will share our Morningstar counseling page too. And so if you have any more information, or if you have any more questions and things like that, you can reach out to Morningstar for services and things in that area. They have counseling services. They are a Native-owned mental health clinic and organization. They do more than just counseling. They also have training opportunities, workshops, and different events like that too, but also a variety of different counseling for pediatric, couples, one-on-one counseling, different types of counseling there. And they also have the opportunity to do telehealth and in person. We do have they do have a location in Walt Hill for in-person, and then they do have providers at each of our public schools that are doing some amazing work with our students and meeting with them. So there are opportunities there if you're looking for counseling services and things like that. So finally, just want to do an update. So with this amazing podcast that we have, we always like to engage our listeners and our viewers, and we appreciate you for tuning in. We are going to be doing a prize giveaway. So you have until this Friday, which is March 8th. Thank you. And you have till noon of March 8th to share this live video of this amazing episode here. For if you share, you'll be entered into a chance to win a prize there. So share this away, and we're hoping to get more viewers and more exposure that way. And we appreciate our listeners and viewers for tuning in. And finally, we always like to end with two more things. We want to end with a coping skill or mental health tip, and then we want to do our closing remarks. And so for our mental health / coping skill, something that I like to do with some of my students is called a gratitude letter. And what I want you to do is take some time to yourself and just reflect on the things that you're grateful for and what you are just your gratitude in general. But I want you to focus on maybe an individual that you are grateful for, and they don't hear that too often, or maybe you don't tell them too often, just because certain life gets busy and sometimes we might forget. But write a page letter or maybe a paragraph of a couple reasons why you're grateful for them and for what they do for you, and then seal that letter and deliver that to them. Just practicing being grateful and gratitude helps with our mental health, but also it's gonna provide that good feeling for that next person there. So that's something you can practice on your own, and you can do it more than once, or even somebody that's maybe in your life all the time, you tell them that, but having that letter, writing that means so much more, putting that time and effort into that too. So that gratitude letter is what that exercise is called there. And finally, we're at the end of our show. Thanks for bearing with us this long and hanging with us and listening to this amazing content here and our amazing guests here. And we will end with some closing remarks, any shout outs. So we'll start with SB here. Do you have any highlights, shout outs, or any closing comments or words?
I want to give a shout out to the cheer team down at Walt Hill. Also a shout out to the boys going to state this week. I'm so excited. It's going to be good. Hopefully get some footage, some photos, but yeah. And then a big shout out to the community and tribal leaders and everyone who's being involved, getting everything prepared for this week. Big shout out to all you guys. So thank you.
Shout out to my best friends. They ain't here right now. Melody and Kaylin, Amaya and Nona. You guys are really there for me all the time, so I'm really thankful for you guys. And shout out to my family. Yeah, thank you.
I just want to give a shout out to my family and a shout out again to my baby, Kylie.
I would like to give a shout out to my mom if she's watching finally. And I would like to give a shout out to the Walt Hill boys as well. Bring it home.
Yeah.
You got this. And see you guys Wednesday.
Oh God, see you guys Wednesday.
Okay. Thanks for those closing words and everything. Appreciate that. I just want to say I'm really appreciative for all of you being here. My co-hosts and you three young ladies here too, just coming and sharing your insights. I just want to remind you, like, even just hear some words or stories that you shared today is probably helping another young relative process some stuff or grow in a way, so thank you for being here and sharing the space with me and sharing the words and stories you have too. So thanks for doing that. Want to give a shout out to the Winnebago Tribe of Nebraska Communications Department, Bethany, Garen, and all their crew there for allowing this space for us to have this amazing podcast. Definitely a big shout out to Bethany for making the behind the scenes things work for our amazing podcast and coming through and making sure everything's situated and set up for us. So shout out to them. Big shout out to Morningstar Counseling. Thank you for all the work you do and for making this podcast happen. Appreciate you. And also a big shout out to Society of Care for also being another sponsorship and making this podcast happen, but also the amazing events and work that you do too. And finally, before I get too winded, want to say shout out and big highlight to all just my female relatives, my aunts, sisters, cousins, all of them. Appreciate all you, and just want to let you know that I love you and appreciate all the things you do, and just want to make that known. So thank you all for tuning in with us with another amazing episode. We will be back again next month. We are going to be premiering our next episode. Let's see here. The next date will be, so it's the first Monday of each month. That'll be April 1st. April 1st will be our next episode at noon. And so keep a lookout for that. We will be posting another flyer and information on that. So like I said, our episodes premiere the first Monday of each month at noon on the Big Voice Radio. And so thank you all for tuning in, and we will see you back next month. And be kind and take care of each other.
Oh yeah.
See ya
later.
Bye.
next month.